Welcome to lecture 16, and we have been discussing about the exact equivalent circuit, its phasor diagram, then approximate equivalent circuit, and I will also draw its phasor diagram. Recall that the approximate equivalent circuit was like this, where this parallel branch has been brought right across the supply. The approximation made is under no load condition, as if there is no current through the winding, but nonetheless core loss will always take place. So, it was like that. Now, if you see this R 1 x 1 and R 2 dash x 2 dash, they become in series. Okay. So, this is one of the greatest advantage of looking at the transformer equivalent circuit in terms of its approximate representation. So, what will happen is this equivalent circuit then can be further simplified. So, approximate equivalent circuit. Referred to primary, it will then boil down to this one. This R 1 and R 2 dash can be represented by a single resistance as R 1 R 2 dash, which is nothing but R 1 plus a square into actual resistance of the secondary term, and this can be written simply as R E 1, that is equivalent resistance in terms of primary winding. This is equivalent resistance. Similarly, the two reactances can be grouped together and written as x 1 plus x 2 dash, and that is equal to x 1 plus a square x 2, and this is called equivalent resistance, equivalent reactance, referred to primary side x E 1, and that is all. These two are the secondary terminals where an impedance will be connected, if it is connected a square Z 2, and this will be R C L 1 and this is J X M 1, and this is your V 1. And mind you, this current is I 2 dash and this is no load current, and no load current comprises of two parts, core loss component C L 1 and I M 1. Then this voltage, if I show it by different colors so that you understand, this voltage is V 2 dashed, which is equal to A into V 2 actual secondary. This current I 2 dashed is equal to I 2 by A. This is how things will go. Then the phasor diagram drawing becomes so simple. Let us see. Suppose we start drawing the phasor diagram with respect to V 2 dashed. Now, as you can see, V 1 will be equal to V 2 dashed, this voltage plus this drop plus I 2 dashed into R E 1 plus J X E 1. This will be the phasor diagram. So, we start the phasor diagram drawing in this way. First draw V 2 dashed, okay, and then draw I 2 dashed. Suppose it is supplying, what is I 2 dashed? Actual current by A, and this is then the load power factor angle, mind you, this is the load power factor angle theta 2, whatever impedance you have connected. Then to get V 1, you add to V 2 dashed, this drops simply. So, this will be V 2 dashed plus I 2 dashed R E 1 plus J I 2 dashed X E 1, and you will get V 1. No point in showing E 1, E 2, etc. So, as I am telling you, as you go to the approximate equivalent circuit, you on the plea that the series impedances are much smaller compared to the parallel impedances of this core loss resistance and magnetizing impedance, then it is this phasor diagram, that is all. And you, this is the angle theta 2, and this is your V 2 dashed. So, to V 2 dashed you add this. Okay. Now, where is your I 1? If this is V 1, you see this I naught will be lagging this V 1 by whatever that current is. Are you getting? After you see, after you get V 1 to V 1, you have in this phasor, in this approximate phasor diagram, your ICL will be in phase with your applied voltage. So, this will be ICL 1, and your magnetizing current you will show 90 degree lagging in this circuit. So, this angle will be then 90 degree as per the approximate equivalent circuit I m, is not. And if you wish to calculate where your I 1 will be, that is what I am doing. So, I m 1, and then add this to get your I naught. To I 2 dash you add your this I naught to get I 1, and input power factor will be angle between V 1 and I 1. I think you have got the idea, but this is the thing. Similarly, the same transformer, if you draw the equivalent circuit, refer to, I will do that because you practice them. So, suppose approximate equivalent circuit, refer to secondary side or load side, secondary side. I will draw it very quickly because I know what is what. So, equivalent, first you draw the equivalent circuit. Equivalent circuit, refer to the secondary side, we have already drawn all parameters. Now, it will look like same thing, only thing this is RCL2, this is XM2, refer to secondary side, okay. And this RCL2 is nothing but RCL 1 by a square. From this side to that side, things are to be divided. In terms of XM 1, it will be by a square, and I will now show it and leave it to you to verify it is indeed true. I will write here as RE 2 and XE 2, where this XE 2 will be equal to x 1 by a square plus x 2, and this RE 2 will be equal to R 1 by a square plus R 2. this resistance, and this voltage is certainly not V 1 now, it is V 1 dashed, which will be equal to V 1 by A, and this voltage will be your V 2, and this current is actual current I 2, and this is your I naught dashed, which is equal to I naught A I naught, is not. This is I naught dashed. I can transform this current. It is by A, so it will be A. I naught dashed is equal to A into I naught. So, get used to this transformation. Multiplying any impedance transfer from this side to this side will involve A, and any current transformation or voltage transformation will involve A. Whether multiplication division, you should be very careful. I gave you some hints also, that is, you just simply calculate the turns ratios, and you must know that impedance values in the LV sides are lower, voltage value on the low voltage side is low definitely, and so on. Current value in the LV side is higher. So, all these things will, you get used to it. So, this is the thing, and in this case this current will be I 1 dashed, and then the phasor diagram for this in the same way. Here you start with V 2, actual secondary voltage V 2. This is suppose the current delivered by the transformer to the load, which I am not drawing, henceforth I will not draw, because V 2 it is supplying current, means some impedance is connected. This is the actual power factor of the load. Then to V 2 you add this drop I 2 R E 2 plus this angle is 90 degree J I 2 X E 2, and this is I 2 R E 2, and then you will get this V 1 dashed. You will not get V 1, mind you, V 1 dashed, and then you can fix up where your I naught will be, because V 1 by R C L 2 will give you magnetizing current, this will give you magnetizing current V 1 dashed divided by X M 2, and the core loss component of current will be there, I M dashed, I C L dashed. These two will give you, I mean same stuff, I do not want to also make. So, I naught, so to I naught you add I 2 to get I 1 dashed and so on. I will not continue. This way it can be computed. Okay. So far what we have done is this, equivalent, I have represented a practical transformer, modeled it in terms of some external parameters connected either in series or in parallel, for example, R 1, R 2, R C L, core loss component of resistance, magnetizing reactance, to an ideal transformer, and got these things. And after getting the exact equivalent circuit, we did another approximation, not without any reason. You cannot approximate anything just like that. The argument is the winding resistance and leakage reactances are much smaller compared to the resistance representing core loss and the reactance representing the magnetizing current, and that comes in parallel. So, it can be approximately pushed in this way. Acha, now after doing this, I will now tell you, given a practical transformer, how do you know these parameter values? By doing some test, it can be simple test, these parameters can be evaluated. But before that, let us take some rating of a practical transformer. I took one like this, say 200 volt stroke 100 volt single phase 50 hertz transformer, and suppose it is practical transformer, and what I have missed kVA rating single phase, suppose the kVA rating is 1 kVA, okay. 1 kVA 200 volt stroke 100 volt 50 hertz single phase transformer. TFO means transformer, short way I am writing. Acha, these things given to you. What does this mean to a practical transformer is this? This is the practical transformer. I will assume this way, that if you apply 200 volt 50 hertz source here across this winding with nothing connected on the secondary side, you will get 100 volt 50 hertz. Okay. And this will be turns ratio will be 200 by 100. This is what will happen. This is the turns ratio I can get, and this one. I also told you that HV side rated current, which I will call side 1 and this is side 2 HV side and this is LV side, that is equal to I 1 rated is equal to 1000 divided by 200, so much ampere. This I can immediately calculate. Okay. So how much it will be? 5 ampere. And also I know IHV, ILV rated ILV side rated is equal to I 2 rated is equal to 1000 by 100. Of course, this I could in one stroke write straight away 5 into 2. This is the rated current, mind you. These things I know. Acha. So, given the transformer rating, we know about these numbers. What is turns ratio I can make out? Calculate rated current that can be allowed to flow through the HV winding and through the LV winding. kVA remains same approximately. Acha, after calculating this, I now make one very interesting point, that no load current of a transformer, no load current that is I naught. You recall I naught was equal to ICL plus I magnetizing. Okay. No load current of a transformer is of the order of say 5% of the rated current, 2 to 5%, 2 to 5% of the rated current. As a practicing engineer, this idea must be there. That is, it must be a well designed transformer. Whoever has designed this transformer, he must have seen that eddy current, hysteresis losses are reduced. He is using very good magnetic material, so that magnetizing current is also small, and it is ICL plus IM, these two together, phasor sum gives you the no load current, and that number I am telling for a well designed transformer, for a well designed transformer. Therefore, without knowing the equivalent circuit, this that, I will say that maybe for this transformer I naught 1 no load current referred to side 1 will be about say 5% of rated current of side 1, that is 5 ampere. So, it will be 5 into 0.05, that is about 0.25 ampere. Same transformer, if you energize from this side no load current LV side, it will be I naught 2 if energized from LV side, I naught 2 no load current will be 5% of 10 ampere. Are you getting? That is 0.5 ampere. Anyway, exact value I do not know. What I am telling, given a transformer, you can guess what will be the order of the no load current. So, no load current value is much smaller compared to the rated value, maybe of the order of 5% of the rated current. See, this transformer could be energized from the 100 volt side as well, that is why LV side I call it. Okay. And your no load current can be estimated. That is, if I say suppose you are energizing the transformer from the HV side with secondary no load means no impedance, switch is open here. No load means S is opened, S opened. Then I am telling, suppose I want to measure this current, no load current, then how to choose the ammeter reading? It guides you. Okay, from the HV side, better take an ammeter which can read, whose range is 0 to 0.5 ampere. Do not connect a 0 to 30 ampere range ammeter to record a current of 0.25 ampere. So, I can decide upon the range of the ammeter if I know this information, that is no load current is of the order of 0.5%. And this 5% is not unique value, that is given a transformer you expect it is, you can expect it will be close to this current, but exact current in any case I can calculate, because the no load current can be about 2 to 5% of the rated current. You must understand that. Acha, after knowing this, let us start discussing how to determine the equivalent circuit parameters. Determination of equivalent circuit parameters. Okay. So, a transformer, practical transformer is given. I want to know what will be the values of RE2, what will be the value of XE2, what will be the value of RCL2, and what should be the value of XCM2. On any side, if you know, other side can be calculated, or in the previous diagram, oh my god. That is, this is with respect to the secondary side I drew. With respect to the primary side, similarly, our goal is to calculate this one, XE1, RCL and Xm1. That is how can I calculate it. The answer to this is we have to do some testing, and simple testing I will do. So, determination of equivalent circuit parameters by conducting from two tests, open circuit test, you conduct two tests, open circuit test and short circuit test, You conduct these two tests in the laboratory and you can get those to all the parameters. Okay. How do I do the test? First, we will take up this open circuit test, what it is all about. What is done? You take the transformer, okay, and connect an ammeter and connect an wattmeter and this is the practical transformer primary, and generally to do the open circuit test from the LV side this test is carried out. The reason we will tell you later. And suppose this is the other side, HV side, which is open circuit or sometimes called no load test or no load. No load means no impedance is connected across the secondary, and also you connect a voltmeter across this, and here you apply V1 rated voltage at rated frequency. So, what I will do? LV side I will energize with voltage V1 at rated frequency F and connect an ammeter and wattmeter. Okay. And keep in mind this is the and approximate equivalent circuit I will refer to. What is the approximate equivalent circuit then? Here V1 at frequency F you have given, RE1 and XE1 are there, but these are open circuited because secondary nothing is connected, infinite. So, this is that open circuit will be reflected at the open circuit in the equivalent circuit also. So, there is I2 dash is 0, nothing is there because no impedance is connected. So, I2 is not there, I2 dash is not there, and this is RCL1 and this is XM1. So, under this condition you see this is I naught, this is also I naught, and this is ICL1 and this is IM1 magnetizing current. And what is the phasor diagram in this approximate equivalent circuit? Phasor diagram is very simple. Applied voltage V1, your magnetizing current will be here 90 degree lagging, and your core loss component of current will be in phase with the supply voltage, and this will be your no load current I naught. So, your ammeter is going to read I naught, okay, and this is called no load power factor angle. if this is theta, this is theta, theta naught, theta naught. Theta naught will be in an ideal transformer 90 degree, but it cannot be because it is a practical transformer having core losses. Okay. And this is the thing, and the wattmeter suppose read W naught. Then I will say that this wattmeter reading must be equal to the voltage applied across its pressure coil, that is V 1, current flowing through its current coil, that is I naught. Let us assume wattmeter to be ideal, I mean those losses of wattmeter neglected, V 1 I naught, and cosine of the angle between these two, that is theta naught. This is what I will get. And from this I can get the value of I naught cosine theta naught to be equal to W naught by V 1 I naught. Okay. And note that I naught cosine theta naught is also equal to ICL 1 from this right angle triangle. So, cosine theta naught ICL 1 is known. Achha, then what you do, follow this point very carefully. Some students make very I mean big mistake. It is better you try to calculate IM also, magnetizing branch. Okay. Instead of trying to calculate V 1 by I naught, that will give you the equivalent impedance, things become complicated. It is much more easier, as you see. What you do now, since so from this also I can calculate cosine theta naught, W naught. Have I done some mistake here? This is not. This will be the thing now. So, W naught by V 1 I naught cosine theta naught. But in any case, I can also calculate the value of cosine theta naught as V 1 I naught. So, from this theta naught is known. If theta naught is known, then from this triangle I can say I m 1 is equal to I naught, which is known ammeter reading into sin theta naught, and also ICL 1 I have already written, it is equal to I naught cosine theta naught. Therefore, what we have done, I have got this current ICL 1 and IM 1, and my problem is to calculate RCL 1. RCL 1 then simply will become V 1 by ICL 1. This is known, and XM 1 is equal to V 1 by IM 1. So, these two values can be calculated. Instead of trying to calculate the impedance V 1 by I naught, do not do it, because that impedance will then be the series representation of RCL and XM equivalent, and then you are gone. And do not say the series part of this equivalent circuit is the core loss resistance. Then it will defy the physical reasoning, that is the magnetizing current requires a fixed voltage and this one. So, you should be very careful. So, mind you, then I have been able to calculate RCL 1 and XM 1. So, doing this open circuit test, I can very quickly calculate by noting down the ammeter reading and wattmeter reading and this voltmeter reading, that will read equal to V 1. I can calculate RCL 1 and XM 1. And then I am telling, if it is needed, you can then, after knowing RCL1, I can always calculate RCL2 and XM2. For this, I do not have to carry out the experiment once again, because I know it will be either divided or multiplied by S square. So, correctly if I do that, I will get RCL2 as well as XM2. So, in this equivalent circuit, I have got this one. Only just one point. As I told you, this is the equivalent circuit, approximate equivalent circuit, okay? Approximate equivalent circuit. But if you honestly look at the circuit, you will find this no load current is flowing through winding resistance as well, is not? Because the exact equivalent circuit is what? R1 X1, then your this parallel branch, is not? Suppose, and then of course, these two are open circuited, exact equivalent circuit. And you are doing on a practical transformer whose exact equivalent circuit is this. What you have done? Here you have applied a voltage, and this current you are telling I naught, fine. But then I will say, look here, this wattmeter reading W naught, okay, you have done some approximation that I have understood, but this wattmeter reading, strictly speaking, he will read the copper loss in RCL as well as copper loss in R1. Some of these two will be read, is not? But what happens is this, how to justify that, why we neglect this copper loss? It is because of that. In open circuit test, winding current is pretty small, maybe 2 to 5% of the rated current. But applied voltage is rated at rated frequency, level of flux in the core is rated, and it is the level of flux that decides the core loss. So, core loss will be much higher than this very small current causing a power loss in R1. So, we neglected the copper loss, note that W1. Practically records the core loss only, core loss. The copper loss, which is also called copper loss, the winding power loss, the copper loss, the loss I1 square into I naught square into R1 is much less compared to core loss. Why? Because flux is rated as flux is rated and I naught is only about 2 to 5% of the rated current. Anyway, please go through this part and try to understand each bit of it, because this is the approximate equivalent circuit. Okay, if you forget about the exact thing from your mind, erase it, then wattmeter reads copper loss, I mean core loss only, but that is not the case. There will be a little bit of copper loss in the winding, which we are neglecting. We are attributing the wattmeter reading to be fully the core loss. We will continue with this with the SC test to determine these parameters in the next class. And remember that generally, the reason I have not told yet, the open circuit test is carried out from LV side. From LV side means there you connect the supply, HV side is kept open. Anyway, thank you.